How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews. Back with yet another review. A little bit of new brewery time in the form of New Jersey's own Bull and Bear Brewing. This is their Scotch ale. Looks a little bit homebrew. No label on there. That's because they're technically not even open yet. But the owner reached out and said, "Hey, man, let's throw you some beers." I said, "Hey, I love me some Scotch ale." He threw me some traditional stuff, an oatmeal stout, a Scotch ale, and a Vienna lager. The Vienna lager I already reviewed. You can go watch that. I'll probably put these all up at the same time. But we'll see what's what. I love me a good Scotch ale. It's one of my favorite styles I've done right, but there's a couple different ways you can do it right, so I'm not going to sit here and say I love all of them. If it goes super smoky, super peaty, I'm not a big fan of that. More like the traditional kind of somewhere between a porter and a like an English ale kind of vibe going on, and that's just me. But yeah, she looks the part. Got a rich kind of malt head to her, or body to her, with a nice soft khaki colored head. She looks all the parts of a Scotch ale. Put it in a Scotch snifter glass. Thought that might be apropos. Let's see if we can get a nose. That smells spot on. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, it's got rich caramels and color and colors. I can smell colors. Rich caramel notes, a little bit of breadiness to it. There even is the slightest, ever so slightest bit of smokiness to it, but really not all that much, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's a smoky beer. It's just more of a rich kind of caramel, malty, rich maltiness to it. Sweet, very sweet, almost comes off syrup-like, a little bit of kind of syrupy, kind of molassesy, syrupy kind of thing. So it's definitely leaning heavily in that malt kind of department, while at the same time smelling pretty damn tasty. I mean, this is kind of the exact direction I like my Scotch ales to go. I like them to be a little bit more kind of like an English version of a kind of like almost like a Baltic porter vibe, but a little bit more sweetness to it. Anyway, we're gonna dive into the sucker, see what she's got. Cheers. That's nice. Really soft, creamy mouthfeel. I mean, the mouthfeel in this is absolutely delectable. Soft, creamy, delicious. That sweetness carries through in the taste, but there's enough bittering on every portion of the beer to kind of balance off a lot of sweetness. Because it does come off sweet. It does come off very much like a molasses sweet with a little bit of caramel added to it. But there's a nice bittering roasted malt to it. I believe there's a little bit of bittering hop. I believe you're getting a little bit of bittering from like a roasted malt kind of astringency there, kind of building up and adding this kind of soft bitterness to it that works out really well. It just has this kind of dark chocolate candied confectionery. Think like Sugar Daddy, which is one of my favorite flavors when it comes to beers. Sugar Daddy mixed with like a blackstrap molasses. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting from this one. I like it. I think it's nice. There's a little bit of soft touch oxidation on it. Nothing too crazy. Listen, I got these probably about 2 or so weeks ago. I'm not how sure they were sitting in a bottle. You know, it is what it is. It's not a negative oxidation to me. I actually like a touch of oxidation in my rich malty kind of English beers. And that's probably the biggest negative thing I'm going to throw at it. Maybe a little bit of butterscotch vibes to it. But, you know, that butterscotch goes really well in combination with that kind of Sugar Daddy molasses thing that I'm really not kind of pooping all over, to be perfectly honest with, even if it is an off flavor on the beer. I think this is tasty. I think it's well done. I think it's delicious. The only, and I keep saying this might be the biggest knock, and the biggest knock I'd have with this might be one of the bigger knocks I had with the previous one. I don't think it's much of a Scotch ale. It's a tasty malt forward, like pseudo barley wine stout. It's not quite a barley wine. It's not quite a stout. It's not quite a Scotch ale. It's just a rich malt forward beer that's quite sweet. Yeah, it's hard to place it. It's definitely not like a BJCP. Did I add another letter to that? Anyway, it's not like a BJCP kind of like a fit in a category kind of beer, but what it is tasty. I guess that kind of really matters when it comes to beers, but I like it. But I'm a fan of Scotch ales. It's not about a lot of people out there that dig on them. Yeah, pretty good stuff. I like it. Carbonation's on point. Mouthfeel is delectable. Sweet where it wants to be. Bittering where it has to be. Nice beer. So there you go. Let's talk about it. It's one of the better Scotch ales I've had as of late. I mean, it's in the running. Not that I've had a ton of Scotch ales, but the fact that it's tasty, but at the same time not overtly like a Scotch ale to me, you know, kind of, it's still in the conversation. It's not going to be towards the top. Put it that way. Bagging availability. Every time I taste it, I get this a little bit more of a kind of roasty blackstrap molasses. That's really cool. Anyway, bagging availability, I have no idea. They should be opening hopefully soon, but now we're in the middle of the kind of quarantine COVID thing right now. That's probably going to push back everybody's plans. So stay tuned to be announced on that one, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Scotch ale, if you like them to skew more kind of, in the grand scheme of things, it's like an English barley wine kind of blended with a Scotch ale kind of vibe. That's what I'm getting here. So if you like Scotch ale, so like English shilling ales, barley wines, old ales, those kind of things, you'll like this. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Scotch ale right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.